I just ate a granola bar. Stand by. But hi guys, how's it going? I am Alicia Martinez. Well, hello, we meet again. And I wanted to do a get ready with me again. And I was trying to think of, what do I want to do for this get ready with me? And I want to focus on skin because I think, well, foundation. My go-to foundation routine that I know works no matter what, that always, whether I'm going out, whether I'm staying at home, whether I'm going to the gym, because yeah, I do wear makeup to the gym, so there you go. But no matter what it is, it works for me, and it's with some of my favorite, all-time favorite products. And because I'm going to be talking about kind of some of my all-time favorites, I thought I would just kind of talk about, I don't know, how I became the person that I am. Oh God. Well, how I got to where I am now. So I'm first gonna get my hair back. I've got this little twisty, twirly little guy, so we'll see if she works. No. All right, that's a little bit better. Well, it is what it is. So the only thing that I have done thus far is I have my moisturizer on, and I did put like some lip balm on earlier. It has totally come off now. And I have some mascara and my brows on. For my brows, I just did False Lash Maximizer and a little bit of the brow pen in Stud. Through there, I did another layer of False Lash Maximizer just to keep them a little like full and bushy and living their best life. So I'm gonna get into it. I figured I would just sit here and talk with you guys a little bit so you can get to know me a bit more. I already did like some questions about me, but those were just like randos. It was, you know, do I like Titanic, which duh, am I a morning or a night person, blah 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 blah. But I figured it would be nice to kind of tell my story, at least my MAC story, and what it's been like, because I think that a lot of times makeup artists or just people in general, like, you want growth in yourself as a human and in your job, and knowing how people get to positions that you want to be in is always really great. So I figured I would illuminate you on mine. So I started 10 years ago, and I remember I wanted to get into makeup. I wasn't quite sure what that was gonna look like for me, but I wanted to be a makeup artist, and I wanted to work at a counter so that I could have some stability. And I remember looking at the MAC team and being so intimidated. Like, they were just beautiful. They were the most beautiful people I'd ever seen in my whole life, and they dressed really cool. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, like, I just got my headgear off, I had poofy hair, and I wore Rainforest Cafe shirts because I thought that was a fashion. I saw them and I remember thinking, dang, that'll never be me, first of all. I'm not cool enough to be part of that space, but I would love to be part of that space. And I think that as a defense mechanism, I went into like defense mode of like, I don't want to work there. Why would I want to work at MAC? Like, they all wear so much makeup. They're mean. I hate them. Nope, I never want to work there. But really, I was like, I want to work there so bad. And I was working just at a Macy's as a beauty on-caller. So if you don't know what that is, it basically is a position where you're like a freelancer for the whole department. So if Clinique needs you, then you can work there. If Bobbi Brown needs you, you can work there. If, you know, Urban Decay or whoever needed help, you could pick up shifts wherever you were going, or with whoever needed it. And so I was working there, and I constantly, like almost every single shift, worked for Origins, which Origins has rad products. Love Origins. However, I would work Origins wearing like blue and green eyeshadow and living my best life, and everyone was like, ma'am, Origins, really? So it just so happened that the MAC stock room was, you had to pass through Origins to get to it. So I would see MAC girls all the time, and they would see me with my green eyeshadow on or my blue eyeshadow on, and they'd be like, girl, why don't you work for us? And I'd be like, what do you mean? Work for you? I remember thinking, my goodness, like, not only are these girls and guys so beautiful, so incredible in makeup, but they also want me to be a part, like are nice enough to compliment my makeup and say that I should be a part of it. Like I just wasn't expecting that. I thought that it was like a club that you had to be a part of, and spoiler alert, I wasn't like the most popular in school, so I wasn't in all the clubs or like asked to be in them, so that was like a new concept for me. And they told me that I should work for them, and it was like the coolest thing I'd ever heard, but also like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm happy, I'm like, I'm not good enough, I'm not whatever. And so I was too scared to actually apply, but they kept kind of pushing me. And so finally I was like, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just try. If worst comes to worst, I'll just be still here at Macy's, kind of working where I want to work, and that'll be it. So I gave my resume to the manager and put it out there, put it out in the world. And I remember I got called to do a big group interview, which, can I just tell you, was the scariest thing of my whole life. I was sitting in a room with all these, I think it was all women, could be wrong, with a bunch of people, and they start pulling out experience, like, oh, I worked on this show, oh, I worked and I did this celebrity, oh, I do makeup here. And I was like, I do makeup right here. Sometimes I do my friend's makeup. Like, it was just, I felt so underqualified, I guess. But we ended up doing, you know, some verbal, then we did a makeup, and one of the trainers there was like, oh, would you want to have a permanent position? And I was like, would I? Yes, sir. And so I was able to fill out paper, like new hire paperwork that day, which was like insane. I definitely was not expecting that. And I remember just thinking like, holy cow, what does this mean? Like, I'm one of these people now. And I remember thinking like, but I'm not. Like, they're so great. They're so amazing. Like, how am I gonna actually pull this off now that I'm here? Like, it really did freak me out. But I filled out my paperwork, and then I did more interviews to figure out kind of where I was gonna go, what counter I was gonna be at. And I think that that's one big thing that I've realized. It's not even just about being qualified for the job, it's about being the right person for that team to make everything work. And because I work in a space, and we work in a space that deals with people, you have to make sure that it gels all together. Yeah, I interviewed for a bunch of different spaces, and I ended up getting a 12-hour position at a store. So I started there, I got promoted to 18 hours. I was living the dream. It took me a long time even just to figure out what I was doing. Like, I didn't come to Mac with a ton of knowledge. It was challenging for me. Like, I remember taking so much time just to figure out like shade names and different things, let alone like the perfect thing for each person. Like, it was so overwhelming. And I would have customers come in and be like, hi, can I get a cork? And I was like, yeah, of course, oh my gosh, I love cork. And then turn around and be like, what the hell is cork? Like, having no clue, and just walking the walls and hoping that like an eyeshadow or something would pop out and say that it was cork. FYI, two things are called cork. Who would have known? But it was a definite struggle, but it was fun. Like, I got to do makeup, and I got to do things that every day for work that I would just normally do for fun. And I would, you know, like, I'd go out of my way to do people's makeup for their special events. Or like, if I was on vacation with my family and we were going out, I'd want to like do a smoky eye on someone. And so I got to do that and get paid for it, which was so cool. And then I went to basic training. It's kind of the basic knowledge to be a Mac artist, but across the board. So it's everything from color theory to customer service to eye shapes to all that. And I went to basic training, and I saw these two people who just seemed like they knew everything. They knew how to do great makeup. They had so much product knowledge. They were so funny and nice and made us laugh and had cool music. And they were these trainers that I completely idolized. And you know, I was a quiet girl. I still am pretty introverted, and just to see them command a room and get me really, really inspired was just like, can I do that? I want to do that. And I don't know that I ever thought that I actually could, but I wanted to. Like, I saw something that I was like, I want to be there. So after basic training, I went back to my store and I interviewed for more hours. So I ended up being a 24-hour artist, which, you know, I'll take it. Any hours you want to give me, I'll take them. I really would have loved to be full-time, but that option wasn't available. I became a product specialist, so I basically talked with the trainers a lot and got my team inspired and motivated for new launches and things that happen in update and things like that. So that was like my next step to maybe like seeing the trainer world. So I got to speak with trainers a little bit more, and I told my leaders like that's something that I wanted to do. And so they gave me opportunities to start to work outside of just my store and experience different things. So I would work different events with Mac. I would teach at different trainings. I did a bunch of stuff that kept to build my resume within my job. So not only was I an artist that was, you know, giving good customer service, learning a lot of skill, making my numbers, but then on top of that, I worked these cool different things and I was available to those. And so a training position became available, and I was still very new. I was a 24-hour artist, but I was like, I'm gonna do this. This is what I want. This is who I am. And I figured, you know what, worst comes to worst, I just put my name out there. People know that I want to be in training, and I kind of see what the whole process is like, because I'd always heard that it was like really intense and really challenging, so I wanted to prepare myself for that. I went for the resident trainer position, and I remember it was so intimidating. I didn't really know the trainer that I would have been partnered with. I didn't know the MRO or like the boss at all. And I remember sitting outside waiting for my interview, and there was a person before me that was interviewing, and they were laughing. They were just having the best time of their lives. They were crying, laughing. I could hear just the cackling coming through the doors. They just seemed like they were having a party in there. And I was like, I'm not someone that gets that kind of response normally. So I was like, well, shit. Not gonna get this job. But I was like, you know what? I just got to do it, be myself. I can't compare myself to that person. I'm just going to do what I can. And I went in there. I felt like I did well. I connected with the people. I didn't answer all the questions right, so I was like, oh my God. I literally answered a question by saying, oh yeah, we don't do that, where everyone does it. It was just so stupid. I left and I was like, all right, you know, I faced my fear. I went for it. There we go. We'll see what happens. And a few days later, I got a call asking for a second interview. I know that when I became an artist, there was a verbal interview and then a makeup interview. It must be the same for in training. And so I connected with my trainer and said, hey, I got a call back. Like, what should I be preparing? What does that look like? And she was like, you know, it's kind of a big deal that you got a second interview. That means that you're in the running for the end decision. And I was like, oh, everyone don't get those? She's like, yeah, no, it's not just a thing that happens. So I was super stoked, but terrified at the same time. But I was like, oh my gosh, this could actually happen. This little experiment that I thought I was doing could actually result in me getting this job that I want. I did my second interview and I ended up not getting the job. And honestly, I was bummed because I thought, oh, this could happen, but I wasn't devastated because I don't know that I thought that I was all that truly ready. So I went back to my job and I was like, you guys, I was on the top. I'm like next in line. Like, look at me. I had good confidence. Like, I was just killing it. And then another training position became available and I was like, my time, guys. Write me some goodbye notes. I won't see you very much. I did the interview, didn't even get to the second round, didn't connect, nothing. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm not next in line. And I remember just thinking like, gosh, how did I go from being a total option to not an option at all? I remember being really bummed out for a little while and then just thinking, I can't sit here and sulk. Let's figure out like, what's the next step for me? And my boss had told me that there was a position available at the Pro Store, which, let me just tell you, the Pro Store was a store that terrified me. It was a store that was full of people that worked in the industry, like actually like we're doing makeup on big people. They used to be trainers. It was just this group of people that were so talented and very intimidating to me. I was like, all right, I'll go for it. I remember being so intimidated by it, but I got the job. And when I got the job, I was like, okay, this is happening. This is happening. this is happening. But I was like, this is a new moment, and I need to connect with being a makeup artist and find my creativity again and be the best artist that I could be, so I feel good every day if that's just all it is. And if I'm not a trainer, that's okay, because I can fall in love with my craft again. And so I went there, and in the store, it was like the side was all pro product. So all these body paints and airbrush guns and glitters that you don't see anywhere else and all this stuff, and it became my best friend. Like every day I was there mixing stuff and throwing it in the airbrush gun and just playing, and honestly just playing by myself. Like I was too scared to make friends with anybody because introvert, and they were scary, just not because they were mean people, but because I was terrified of them. And so I just kind of did it on my own, and every day someone would be like, oh, what are you doing over here? What you got cooking? And then they would come and play, and then for another day someone else would come over and mix something with me, or we'd pull out the airbrush gun and start doing it together, and we would do these, you know, different themes, and all of a sudden it just became this collective group of people that were having a lot of fun with makeup and trying new things. And it really was like this ripple effect where curiosity around makeup sparks other people's, and if you have a passion for something, even if it seems like the light has dimmed a little bit, like it can be reignited. And it was such a fun time, and I would never ever replace the time that I spent at that pro location. I was so scared to do it, but it ended up being so rewarding, and I really feel like I am the artist that I am based on the time that I was there and working with the people that I worked with. I was there for a while, and then a trainer position became available. It happened again, and I was like, all right, like this is happening. And the cool thing was that it was a training position within my own market, stores that I'd always worked at, and the people that I knew, and the customers that I knew. And so I was like, this is mine. This is happening. No one is gonna take this from me. This is my position. So I studied, I spent so much time, make different skits and have these action plans, and I was not gonna allow anybody else to have this job. It was mine. And so I did it. I got called back for a second interview, and I remember everyone was there. Like all the leaders of the region were there, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I, you know, just was like, breathe and do this. This is yours. You do this in store. Like, just get it done, girl. And I felt really good about what I put out there. And then, of course, the waiting game happened. It could just take forever. Like, every day, it just feels so long until you hear, like, where we're going, if you got it or not. And so I remember just waiting and being like, I didn't get it. It didn't happen. They didn't laugh. They didn't like it. And I finally got a call, and I remember them telling me that I got the training position, and I didn't say anything. I didn't say a word. I didn't smile. I didn't laugh. I didn't cry. I didn't do anything. And they were like, ma'am, you still there? And I was like, yeah, I don't really know what to, this is it. That I didn't know. And I'm a total processor, so it takes me time to like understand something, take it in, and then react to it. So I wasn't at reaction time. So I got the position, and it was another one of those moments where it's like, oh my gosh, I got this position that I've been wanting. Like, what now? Like, can I be what I think this is? Like, am I good enough? I don't know. And it took me a long time to start to like understand what that role meant, what a trainer is. The role has evolved, but I'm still in it, and it's been so much fun. And I think that the coolest thing about it, you get to find your own space. Just because you are a makeup artist doesn't mean you have to be this makeup artist that fits right here. You get to find out who you are in that role and really come into it. So just because I was a trainer didn't mean that I had to be the trainer that I saw at my basic training, or the trainer that was my trainer. Like, I didn't have to be a carbon copy of them. I got to figure out, like, who am I and what's my voice and how do I inspire people and what does that look like? And it was really, really fun. I have been doing training now for, God, I think 7 years. And it's been so fun because I get to not only connect with a bunch of people, but I get to connect with artists. And I think that it's really nice to be around like-minded people. I have been able to make a lot of connections through my job with people that I love. My best friends work with this brand, or I've met through this brand. It was a long process, but it wasn't. Like, I had my eye on the prize, and when it became available, I went for it. And I think that that was the biggest thing that I took from my journey, is that a lot of people say they want to go somewhere, but then the position's available and they don't post, they don't go for it, you know? And I've always, if I've wanted something, just been like, I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I'm going. And I think that that's what's allowed me to get kind of where I am now. I'm going to use a little bit of Studio Fix. I have found my love for Studio Fix again. I, for a while, was like, I can't do it, I'm dry, whatever. Like, one of my first products that I ever bought from MAC was Studio Fix. And I like strayed away from it, but I'm back hard and heavy. I absolutely love this as a finishing product. So it gives, like, even you can see some of my dark spots still, because I didn't know that sunscreen was a thing until I was 30, so cool. I like to use this to kind of smooth everything out under the eye and add coverage, and I like to contour or bronzer with it as well. So I like to get just a little bit, oh my, like already, it's so, it just brightens up. And it's a breathable powder, which I don't think a lot of people know. I think that people are like, Studio Fix, that's a full coverage powder, it's gonna just make a mask. And I don't think that it does. I think that I've seen it in all types of environments. I've seen it in film, I've seen it in photography, I've seen it in real life, and I find that if you go light with it, you really do get this almost airbrush look to the skin, but coverage too, which I find that a lot of times I have to pick and choose what I get. So I just like to put that lighter one kind of in the areas that I want to brighten. And so C3 just goes a little lighter to brighten, and then I have NC45 to give some more shape. And I just feel like it's so easy. It's like, it's a face powder, so it's milled so fine. So it just goes on there and gives me what I need. So I feel like that is my story till now. You know, things are changing here. Like, even the ability to come on camera and do something like this is something that I didn't know was an option 3 years ago, and now it is. And so I think what's cool is that you can really switch up what's happening in your world and in your job, and if you have a good idea, you can voice it, and that's really important to me. So I've really enjoyed how, like, this has been evolving. I think about it all the time, like, what is the next position? And I don't know that I have that in my head, like, right now. But I'm just trying to make sure that I stay an inspired makeup artist always, and that I inspire my teams, and that I am authentic and who I am, because I think that there's a lot of people that put masks on, and I did for a long time. I wanted to be the perfect version of what a MAC person was, and I think that I don't care anymore, and I'm super stoked to be the person that's obsessed with Abraham Lincoln and three-toed sloths. But I want to be that for my teams and for you guys and for whoever. So that is really my face. I feel really flawless in my skin right now, and when I look close up at it, it doesn't have a lot of texture. It looks really creamy to me, and it has a really pretty dimension. And I find that when I do something like this, I can put blush on, or I can not put blush on. I can do a crazy eye or not do a crazy eye. I could do a lip. It gives me the base to go wherever I want to go. Let me just take this down. No lumps. I see you. I see you. So there you have my skin. I love, that's just a little bit of Soft and Gentle, just so you know, but it just gives really pretty, like, dimension all over. Like, even though I use Studio Fix, which is on the more matte side, the Fix Plus helped to kind of make it creamy, and I just feel like every part of my face has luminosity, but in different ways. Like, it's bright luminosity here and then smooth. So that is my go-to face, and that is the story of how little baby Alicia was just birthed and nurtured into the girl that she is here at MAC. So if you have any other questions, feel free to comment down below, or if you just have more suggestions for us, anything, we want to hear from you. I've had so much fun connecting with people, and know that you can connect here or on Instagram. Us in the training team are available for you. Please comment, subscribe to our Instagram page, hit the notification bell. I will say it's so interesting because I get notifications for things that I haven't hit a bell for, but then like people that I feel like I watch all the frickin' time, I'll go to their page and I realize that I've missed a bunch of stuff. So I think it works. I don't really understand the algorithm. I didn't go to DeVry, so I don't know how those synapses fire, but please connect with us, and we want to connect with you. I love you guys all. All right, that's it. Peace out.